Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make these cute hair bows using an alligator clip or a hair tie using your Krafty Khoo kit set materials. These bows are a super cute accessory. They also make great gifts or even a fun craft activity that you can do with your friends. If you are brand new to sewing, I do have some tutorial videos on how to sew the basic stitches you need, and you can find the links to these videos in the description below. Now let's get started. First of all, grab your bigger piece of fabric and fold it in half lengthways with the wrong sides of the fabric facing upwards. Line it up along the top edge and pin it into place. Using a back stitch, we will now sew a straight line across the top of the fabric about 1 centimetre down from the top edge. If you are hand sewing, don't forget to tie a knot when you start sewing and when you finish. If you are using machine, don't forget to back tack at the start and the end as well. Next, we will turn the tube right side out. I'm just going to use my fingers to push the tube through. You can always use a safety pin if you need a little bit of help to push the tube through. Once you've done that, lay your tube flat on the table with the seam we've just sewn running through the middle of that rectangle. Press down flat with your hands, and ideally if you do have access to an iron it flat and flatten out any creases and folds. If you don't have an iron, that's okay. You can just use your fingers and run your finger along the edges to crease the edge and hold the rectangle in shape. Next, we're going to form the bow. So laying out your flattened tube on your table with the seam facing towards you, we're now going to fold the ends of the flattened tube towards the center so that the two ends slightly overlap. You don't want them to overlap more than about 1 centimetre. Next, grab a pin and we're going to just poke it and pin it into place, so it will help keep it together when we sew it together. Next, we're going to do a running stitch, and we're going to sew a running stitch down the edge of those two ends, and this is to form the loop. So I'm going to hand sew it with my thread and my needle. I've also remembered to knot it, and we're just going to do a little running stitch. Note, this stitch doesn't have to be perfect. The stitching will be hidden behind the little center tab later. Remember, we don't want it going through the whole loop. We just are holding together those two ends. Now we get to create the bow center pleats. So I'm just going to lay it flat a little bit, so with that new running stitch seam in the center. Turning it over, I'm going to fold the bow like I would an accordion, and I'm going to make 3 folds. So 3 little mountains. You can make as many folds or as little folds as you want, but I quite like the look of 3. Now I'm going to pinch these folds together with one hand, And what we're going to do next is grab your thread, your sewing thread, and what we're going to do is we're going to use your sewing thread and wrap the thread around your bow 3 or 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, basically enough times just to hold it into place. Do not cut your thread off just yet. Now we're going to go through the 2 different options in terms of your fastening, whether you want to use a hair tie or an alligator clip. If you are using a hair tie, what you'll need to do is grab your hair tie, place it behind your bow, on the back of your bow, and what you're going to do is wrap the thread loosely through the hair tie, and essentially we're just making sure that the hair tie is roughly attached to the bow. We will be using the tab to secure it tightly. Then cut off your thread, tie a knot, and I will meet you at the next step. For those using an alligator clip, I will show you next. So I will remove the hair tie and show you with the alligator clip. If you are using an alligator clip today, cut off your thread and tie a knot with the 2 ends of the thread just to secure the thread into place. We'll just do 2 knots here and trim off any loose thread. Next, grab your alligator clip, and what you'll notice is that there is a smooth side of the clip and a ridged side underneath. The smooth side is the top of the clip, and what we're going to do is add on a layer of glue to that top of the clip, and we're going to glue it to the back of the bow. Get your glue out and be careful of the surfaces and where your glue is going. And I'm just going to put a layer of glue again on the smooth side of the clip, and I'll center it right at the back of the bow and I'll hold it into place. Depending on the glue that you are using, it may take just a few moments to dry, or you may need to leave it for a few minutes. And in the next step, we're going to make the tab and finish off the bow. The next step is the final piece. So grab that small piece of fabric that you've got, and this will make up the tab. We're going to fold the tab into thirds lengthways and then glue into place. So this is my little tab. So I'm just using my fingers to crease it so I know where those thirds are. And then I'm just going to get my glue, run a line of glue and then press down. And then this will form our center tab. Now the final step is, if you get your bow with the front of it facing towards you, we're now going to wrap the tab around the center of your bow. It's the same process whether you are using your hair clip or if you are using your hair tie. So this may be a little bit fiddly, but I like to secure the tab with the clip itself just to help me first. So essentially, if you are using a clip, you want to you want to wrap the tab through the center of the clip around your bow. And we will just need to glue it into place. If you find you do have excess fabric, you can always trim that fabric off end, so don't worry if your tab is really, really long because you've wrapped it quite tightly. So I'm just going to add a layer of glue and glue this tab into place. Now you want to just make sure that the end of your tab is on the back side of your bow so it isn't showing at the front there. Again, like before, it may take a few seconds or a few minutes for your glue to dry. You can adjust your bow and just make sure that you're happy with the shape. And there we have it. You have your first little hair bow.